6 months passed and Olivia's body changed with her pregnancy. The Zenith healers monitored her closely using technology that let her see the baby growing inside her. The child was developing faster than a human baby, but slower than a Zenith one, creating a unique rhythm all its own Zarian. The scientist father visited daily, bringing herbs that eased her morning sickness and telling her stories about Zenith history. He was fascinated by human biology, asking endless questions about Earth, childbirth traditions. A friendship grew between them based on mutual curiosity and respect. Olivia sent messages back to Earth telling her family about her new life. She did not share the true nature of her job, fearing they would not understand. Instead, she told them she was a cultural ambassador, learning Zenith ways. The Earth government knew the truth but kept it classified, worried about public reaction to what some might see as exploitation. The Zenith village prepared for the birth. With elaborate rituals, the women painted the walls of Olivia's house with symbols of strength and endurance. The men built a special birthing pool filled with healing minerals. Queen Kalara herself wove a blanket for the baby, using fibers that responded to touch, providing warmth or coolness as needed. On the night Olivia went into labor, 3 moons aligned in the sky, a rare event the Zenith took as a powerful omen. The birth was easier than human births thanks to Zenith medicine and the slightly lower gravity. The baby girl emerged after just 4 hours of labor with a lusty cry that echoed through the village. The child had Olivia fair skin, but with a slight purple glow. Her eyes shifted colors like Zarian, but she had Olivia curly brown hair. Her tiny fingers were longer than human babies with delicate points at the tips. 10 perfect fingers and 10 perfect toes, the Zenith counted with reverence, as this was rare among their own sickly newborns. Queen Kalara named the baby Amara, meaning eternal in the Zenith language. The name was whispered from one end of the village to the other. Amara the hope, Amara the future, Amara the first of a new kind. Olivia fell in love with her daughter, watching in amazement as Amara grew twice as fast as human babies. Within 2 months she could hold her head up. By 4 months she was sitting unassisted. At 6 months, she spoke her first word star, in both English and the Zenith language. Amara showed signs of telepathic abilities early, and she could share her feelings with Olivia without words, sending waves of emotion that Olivia felt in her mind. This was a Zenith trait, though usually it developed much later in life. The scientists were excited, seeing this as proof that the hybrid figure was working. Earth scientists requested data on Amara development, but Queen Kalara was protective. She allowed basic information to be shared, but nothing that might lead to Earth trying to recreate the hybrid program without Zenith involvement. The future of their species would not be a laboratory experiment. Olivia learned to balance motherhood with her role as the bridge between 2 worlds. She attended council meetings with Amara strapped to her chest. The baby would gaze at the proceedings, with intelligent eyes that seemed to understand far more than she should. Zenith elders would often pause in their debates to ask what the child thought, sensing her developing telepathic impressions. When Amara reached 1 year old, she was walking, talking and showing intelligence equal to a human 5-year-old. Her hair had developed streaks of silver that glowed in the dark. Her laughter caused small objects to vibrate with harmonic resonance, a Zenith trait associated with musical ability. Queen Kalara gifted her with a crystal flute that responded to her thoughts, playing melodies that Amara imagined Olivia's relationship with Nyx. The warrior poet deepened as they spent time together watching Amara grow. He taught Olivia the Zenith martial arts, a slow, graceful practice similar to Tai Chi, but incorporating light manipulation. He wrote poems about her bravery, comparing her to legendary Zenith heroines who had saved their people from past calamities. When Amara turned 18 months old, Olivia discovered she was pregnant again, this time with Nyx's child. The village celebrated with even more enthusiasm than before. This was proof their plan was working, not just a single miracle, but the beginning of a sustainable future. The second pregnancy was different. Olivia could feel the baby thoughts earlier. A boy with strong mental projection. The Zenith said this meant he would be a powerful telepath, perhaps able to communicate across vast distances. This ability had nearly died out among their people, with only Queen Kalara still possessing it in any significant measure. As her belly grew, Olivia received news from Earth. The exchange program was expanding. 10 more human women had volunteered after learning about Amara. Success. The Zenith were sending a ship to bring them to Lumina. This had never been Olivia's intention to start a trend, but she understood the logic. Both species would benefit from more genetic exchange. Some Earth politicians opposed the program, calling it unethical. Others saw it as the ultimate form of diplomacy. The debate raged, but the volunteers remained committed. They had seen images of Amara, had spoken with Olivia via delayed video feeds, and had made their choice. Queen Kalara prepared. Housing for the newcomers, expanding the village boundaries, constructing new crystal dwellings. Olivia was asked to help create an orientation program, something to ease the transition for the humans. The Queen also appointed her to the High Council, giving her equal voice with the eldest Zenith advisors, an unprecedented honor for an outsider. Olivia found herself at the center of a movement larger than herself. She was no longer just a mother or a job holder, but a pioneer creating a new path for 2 species. Her days were filled with purpose, her nights with dreams of the future her children would build. The loneliness she had sometimes felt, as the only human, was replaced by a sense of belonging to something greater than either of her worlds. As the time approached for her second childbirth, Olivia stood on the balcony of her home looking at the stars, the same stars she had seen from Earth now viewed from a different angle. She placed her hands on her rounded belly, feeling the baby shift inside her. The air smelled of cinnamon and hope. Tomorrow the new human volunteers would arrive. Tomorrow the future would take another step forward. Tonight, though, she was simply Olivia Brown, human mother of a new beginning. Olivia Brown always wanted to see the stars. Her wish came true when she got chosen for the special exchange program with the Zenith aliens who had come to Earth 5 years ago. The Zenith looked mostly human, except for their purple skin glowing, eyes and tall bodies reaching 7 feet. Olivia packed her bags, excited to be the first human to live among the Zenith on their colony world Lumina. She was told she would have an important job helping their society, but details were vague. The Earth government assured her this was a great honor. The journey took 3 weeks on the Zenith ship. Olivia spent this time learning about their culture from the ship computer. She learned the Zenith were ruled by a queen named Kalara, who made all important decisions for her people. The Zenith respected strength, intelligence, and fertility above all else. When the ship landed, Olivia saw a beautiful village with crystal buildings that caught the sunlight. The air smelled like cinnamon, and the gravity felt lighter, making her feel almost bouncy. The Zenith greeted her with respectful bows, which surprised her. She was just a regular office worker from Ohio, not anyone's special queen. Kalara herself came to welcome Olivia. She was magnificent, standing 8 feet tall, with flowing silver hair and eyes that shifted colors like opals. Her voice was deep and melodic when she spoke. "Welcome, Olivia Brown. We have waited long for a human like you to join our village. Your work here will ensure the future of both our peoples." Olivia was shown to a beautiful house with all the comforts of home plus strange alien technology. The food was delicious, the people were kind, but something felt off. No one would tell her exactly what her job was. They just said she needed to rest after her journey. A week passed with Olivia being treated like royalty. The Zenith women brought her gifts, and the men kept their distance, looking at her with curious eyes. She was getting frustrated, wanting to start her work and prove herself useful. Finally, Queen Kalara summoned Olivia to her crystal palace. The queen sat on a throne of living metal that seemed to pulse with energy. Guards with spears stood at attention, their faces serious. "Olivia Brown, the time has come to explain why you are here. Our people are dying. We have a genetic problem that makes birth difficult. Most Zenith children are born weak and do not survive beyond a few days. We need new genetic material to strengthen our bloodline. The human DNA is compatible with ours. We have tested this in our labs. Your job is to bear children with our strongest males. These hybrid children will save our species." Olivia gasped, feeling betrayed. No one had mentioned this. She thought she would be teaching or doing diplomatic work, not becoming a breeding factory. She felt angry and scared, wanting to return home immediately. "I cannot do this. I did not agree to this." Please send me back to Earth. Queen Kalara looked sad. We cannot force you. This must be your choice. But please understand, we face extinction. Your children would be raised as royals, honored above all. They would have both human and zenith traits, living hundreds of years with powers humans can only dream of, and you would be given anything you desire. Olivia asked for time to think. She paced her house for days, torn between fear and an unexpected feeling of sympathy for the dying aliens. She learned more about their plight, how their numbers had dwindled from millions to just thousands. They had tried everything else: genetic modification, artificial wombs, cloning. Nothing worked. One night, Olivia met Lyra, a young zenith woman who had lost 3 babies. Lyra showed Olivia the empty nurseries, the small graves, the mourning mothers. Olivia saw the desperation in their eyes, and something in her heart shifted. She returned to the Queen with questions. How many children would she need to have? Would they be taken from her? Would she ever see Earth again? The Queen answered honestly. 6 children would be enough. She could raise them herself, and she could visit Earth, though the journey was long and difficult. Olivia made her choice. She would help, but with conditions. She would choose her partners. She would have final say in how her children were raised, and the zenith must promise to treat Earth fairly in all future relations. The Queen agreed to everything, recording the agreement in the sacred crystal archives. Olivia met the potential fathers, all strong, intelligent zenith males. She chose 3 who seemed kind and respectful. The first was Zarian, a scientist with gentle hands. The second was Nyx, a warrior with a poet heart. The third was Vex, an explorer who had mapped distant stars. The Queen organized a ceremony to honor Olivia's decision. The entire village gathered in the central square with glowing lanterns floating in the air. Olivia wore a robe woven with threads that changed colors with her emotions. The 3 chosen zenith males stood tall and proud, each presenting her with a gift that represented their essence. Zarian gave her a crystal that contained a map of her DNA, merged with his, showing the potential of their child. Nyx gave her a pendant that would protect her from harm, absorbing any negative energy. Vex gave her a small globe that showed Earth and Lumina orbiting each other, symbolizing the union of their worlds. The ceremony lasted all night, with music, dancing, and storytelling. The zenith shared their ancient legends about a savior who would come from beyond the stars to breathe new life into their dying race. Olivia realized they had been waiting for someone like her for generations. Their hope rested on her shoulders, a weight she had never expected to carry. As the twin suns of Lumina rose on the horizon, Olivia felt a strange peace settle over her. This was not the job she had imagined, but perhaps it was the job she was meant to do. Not just work, but a mission that would change the course of 2 species forever. Looked around at the faces of her new people, and for the first time since arriving, called Lumina home. The arrival of the 10 human women changed everything. Their ship landed on a clear morning, filling the sky with thunder. Mary Beth, Carol, Diane, Susan, Kim, Patricia, Linda, Betty, Nancy, and Rose stepped onto zenith soil with wide eyes and nervous smiles. They came from different countries, different backgrounds, united by their willingness to help a dying species. Olivia greeted them with Amara on her hip and her second child growing in her belly. The sight of a healthy human woman with a thriving, hybrid child did more to reassure the newcomers than any words could. Their faces relaxed, their shoulders lowered. They would be safe here. They would be respected here. The new humans moved into their homes in what the zenith now called the Earth. Quarter Olivia helped them adjust to the lighter gravity, the different food, the strange customs. She answered their questions honestly about what it meant to bear children for the zenith. Some were frightened, some excited, all determined. Queen Kalara held a great feast to welcome the newcomers. The entire village gathered in the central square with tables loaded with food that blended zenith and Earth cuisines. The Queen presented each woman with a crystal pendant that would help them learn the language faster, transmitting words directly to their minds as the feast progressed. Amara wandered among the tables, charming everyone with her bilingual chatter and color-changing eyes. The new humans watched her closely, seeing in her the children they might one day bear the zenith. Males kept a respectful distance, waiting for the women to adjust before any introductions would be made. Olivia's second child was born 2 weeks after the newcomers arrived. Another easy birth, though this one took place during a thunderstorm that shook the crystal spires of the village. Her son emerged with dark skin like Nick's but human features. His eyes were deep brown with flecks of gold that glowed when he was excited. Queen Kalara named him Nova, meaning new light Nova showed different abilities than his sister. Where Amara was telepathic, Nova could manipulate light, creating tiny auroras above his crib that danced with his moods. By 3 months, he could form simple shapes with light-making stars, and circles that amused his sister. Amara would communicate telepathically with him, and he would answer with light displays that matched her emotions. The village adapted to having multiple human women and soon hybrid babies. The Zenith built a central nursery where the children could play together. Developing both their human and Zenith sides, Earth scientists were finally permitted to visit, conducting gentle, non-invasive studies of the children. Each hybrid was unique, some favoring their human heritage, others their Zenith parentage, but all were healthy, vibrant, and developing abilities that amazed both species. Olivia's relationship with Vex, the explorer, deepened as they spent time watching her children grow. He told her stories of distant planets, showing her star maps and teaching her to navigate by the constellations visible from Lumina. He took her on short trips in his scout ship, visiting the moons of their world, and promising longer journeys when the children were older. When Nova reached his first birthday, Olivia discovered she was pregnant for a third time with Vex's child. The pattern established itself naturally, alternating care of growing children with bringing new ones into the world. Her body adapted well to Zenith pregnancy. Each one became easier, her human form, finding harmony with the alien life growing inside her. The other human women followed similar paths, each choosing Zenith partners after careful consideration. Some had 1 child. Some had more. The human population of the village grew to include 30 adults as more volunteers arrived. The children numbered over 40 hybrids running through crystal halls with laughter, and Light Earth governments recognized the hybrid colony, officially establishing diplomatic relations. The first human ambassador arrived, a woman who had grown up with Olivia in Ohio. She was shocked at how well her old friend had adapted to alien life, how natural Olivia seemed among the tall purple beings, how confidently she moved through both worlds. Olivia's third child was a girl named Lyria, after the Zenith woman who had first shown Olivia the empty nurseries. The child was born with silver hair that rippled like water and green eyes flecked with purple. Her most remarkable trait appeared at 6 months of age. She could heal small injuries with her touch. When Amara scraped her knee, Lyria placed her tiny hands over the wound, and the skin knitted back together. The Zenith healers were astonished. This ability had been lost among their people for generations. As her family grew, Olivia took on more responsibilities in the village. She helped design curriculum for the school that taught both human and Zenith knowledge to the hybrid children. She served as mediator. When conflicts arose between human and Zenith customs, she advised Queen Kalara on matters concerning Earth relations. Her opinion was sought and valued, her wisdom respected. The children grew quickly, showing remarkable development. Amara, at 4 years old, could communicate telepathically with anyone in the village, projecting not just emotions, but complex thoughts and images. Nova, at 3, could create light sculptures so beautiful that Zenith artists came to study his technique. Lyria, at 2, could heal wounds that would have required surgery, her tiny hands glowing with energy. As broken bones mended under her touch, Vex took Olivia and the children on a journey to see the far side of Lumina, where ancient Zenith ruins stood in silent testimony to their once great civilization. The children walked among stone columns, asking questions about their heritage, tracing carved symbols with small fingers. Amara could sense echoes of the past inhabitants. Nova could recreate the buildings as they once stood using light projections. Lyria could feel the injuries of those long dead whose remains lay beneath the soil. Her face would scrunch up with concentration as she tried to heal across time itself. Olivia felt a deep contentment, watching her children explore their dual heritage. She had created not just babies, but bridges between worlds. Each strand of their DNA carried history and hope, woven together in patterns never before seen. They were neither fully human, nor fully zenith, but something new, something better. Their hybrid vigor gave them strengths from both bloodlines without the weaknesses of either. When they returned to the village, Olivia discovered that Queen Kalara had fallen ill. The ancient ruler had lived for 3 centuries, but now her time was coming to an end. The queen requested Olivia presence in her private chambers, a rare honor granted to few. Olivia found Kalara lying on a bed of living crystal that hummed with energy. The queen looked smaller. Somehow her purple skin faded to lavender, her once vibrant eyes now dull. "Olivia, I have watched you create miracles in our midst. You have given us more than we ever dared hope. I have a final request of you. When I am gone, my people will need guidance. Will you help lead them with your human wisdom and your mother heart?" Olivia was stunned. The queen was asking her to take a role in ruling the zenith, a position no human had ever held. She thought of her children, of their future, of the merging of 2 species that had begun with her choice years ago. How could she refuse? Olivia accepted the queen request, becoming advisor to Kalara niece Zara, who would inherit the throne. The transition was smooth, as Olivia was already respected among the zenith. She did not rule directly, but her council shaped decisions affecting both human and zenith inhabitants of Lumina. Her position gave the human residents confidence that their needs would be considered in all matters as her 4th pregnancy progressed. Olivia divided her time between governance, family, and preparing for the future. The colony was growing faster than anyone had anticipated. More human volunteers arrived each year. Zenith from other settlements relocated to Lumina, hoping to participate in the rebirth of their species. Earth corporations sought permission to establish research facilities interested in zenith technology and the remarkable abilities of the hybrid children. Olivia, 4th child, another boy, was born during a rare solar eclipse. The zenith took this as a powerful sign. The baby had copper skin and eyes that shone like amber. His most unusual feature became apparent within days. He could sense minerals beneath the ground, creating mental maps of underground resources. This ability would later prove invaluable in expanding the colony, finding water sources and precious materials. They named him Orion after the Earth constellation. His siblings welcomed him with enthusiasm. Amara, now 6, projected feelings of love and protection into his newborn mind. Nova created gentle, light displays above his crib that soothed him to sleep. Lyria checked him daily with her healing touch, ensuring he grew strong and healthy. The family settled into a rhythm, with each child developing their own personality and interests. Amara became a natural diplomat, mediating conflicts before they began using her telepathy to foster understanding between humans and zenith. Nova showed artistic talent, creating light sculptures that told stories of both worlds. Lyria worked with the healers, learning to focus her gift, treating injuries and illnesses that once claimed zenith lives. Orion, even as a toddler, could lead adults to underground springs and mineral deposits, unerringly pointing with chubby fingers to where they should dig earth. Scientists studying the hybrid children noted that each generation showed stronger abilities. The mixing of human and zenith DNA had created not just viability, but extraordinary potential. Some politicians on Earth grew concerned about these powerful children, wondering if they might one day pose a threat. Others saw them as the next step in human evolution, a beneficial merger with an advanced species. Olivia worked to ensure both human and zenith cultures were preserved in the colony, establishing museums, libraries, and cultural centers where traditions could be maintained and shared. She wanted her children to know both sides of their heritage, to feel connected to Earth even as they made their home on Lumina. She sent regular reports to Earth governments explaining the growth and development of the colony, emphasizing the peaceful intentions of both species. When Orion reached his 1st birthday, Olivia discovered she was pregnant for the 5th time with Zarian's 2nd child. The pattern of her life continued with perfect symmetry. The zenith healers monitored her closely, as she was the first human to have 5 hybrid pregnancies. They need not have worried. Her body had adapted well, growing stronger with each child, as her belly swelled. Olivia received disturbing news from Earth. A political faction was gaining power that opposed the Human Zenith Alliance. They claimed the humans on Lumina had been brainwashed, that the hybrid children were an abomination, that Earth was giving away its genetic heritage for nothing in return. They demanded the program be shut down and all humans returned to Earth. The Zenith High Council met in emergency session with Queen Zara and Olivia, leading the discussion. Contingency plans were made, defensive systems were activated not seen since the ancient wars. The safety of the colony and especially the children became the highest priority. Olivia sent a message to Earth explaining that the humans on Lumina had made their choice, freely, that they were citizens of two worlds and would not be forced to return. During this tense time, Olivia's fifth child was born, a girl with skin that shifted subtle hues with her emotions and eyes as dark as space itself. They named her Selena, after Earth Moon. She showed an extraordinary ability to communicate with plants, sensing their needs and helping them grow with just her presence. When placed in a garden, flowers would turn toward her, vegetables would ripen, fruits would swell, all. Growing things responded to her, somehow recognizing her as kin. The political crisis on Earth escalated with demonstrations both supporting and opposing the Lumina colony. The United Nations held special sessions debating the legal status of humans who had children with aliens and the citizenship of hybrid children. Olivia spoke at these sessions via holographic projection. Her words translated into all Earth languages. Her calm, reasoned arguments and obvious happiness swayed many opinions. The sight of her 5 healthy children standing beside her, their faces showing both human and zenith features, was powerful evidence that something beautiful had been created. In the end, a compromise was reached. Earth would maintain its alliance with the Zenith and continue the volunteer program, but with more oversight. The hybrid children would hold dual citizenship, able to visit Earth when they wished. Lumina would share certain technologies, particularly medical advances stemming from Lyria healing abilities and agricultural innovations inspired by Selena plant communication. As the crisis passed, life in the colony returned to its rhythm of growth and discovery. Olivia children attended the school she had helped design, learning mathematics, science, history, art, and languages from both worlds. They played with other hybrid children, forming friendships that crossed all boundaries of species and origin. The oldest among them, Amara, now 8 years old, showed leadership qualities that reminded many of both Olivia and Queen Kalara. She often gathered the younger children, telling them stories of Earth that Olivia had shared with her. Olivia turned 35, realizing she had spent a decade on Lumina, more time than she had lived in any one place on Earth. Yet Earth still called to her sometimes in dreams. The smell of rain, the sound of ocean waves, the feel of snow. These sensations could not be replicated on Lumina, no matter how advanced the technology she spoke with. Zarion, Nyx, and Vex, the fathers of her children, about a journey. Her children had never seen the world of their human heritage, never met their human grandparents, never felt Earth gravity. The 3 Zenith males agreed such a journey was important for the children. Cultural education. Queen Zara gave her blessing, providing a royal ship for the voyage. The 5 children were excited beyond words, especially Amara, who had studied Earth extensively through books and videos Nova wanted to see. Earth art museums. Lyria was interested in human medical practices. Orion hoped to explore Earth geology. Selena most of all wanted to experience Earth plant life in all its diversity. Preparations for the journey took months. The children needed training to adapt to Earth's stronger gravity. Their zenith abilities would need to be carefully controlled in public to avoid causing fear or misunderstanding. Their dual citizenship was processed through diplomatic channels, ensuring they would be welcomed as honored guests, not scientific curiosities. The journey to Earth would take 3 weeks, during which Olivia would prepare her children for the experience of being different, on a world where everyone looked fully human, where their abilities might cause fear instead of acceptance. She worried especially about Amara telepathy and Lyria healing touch abilities that might be misunderstood or exploited. As the day of departure approached, Olivia stood with her 5 children at the ship landing pad, her 3 Zenith partners beside her. The entire colony gathered to see them off. Queen Zara presented each child with a crystal pendant that would help them maintain their connection to Lumina, even across the vast distance of space. The journey to Earth took exactly 21 days. The children adjusted to the gradually increasing gravity as the ship approached their ancestral home. Olivia used this time to prepare them for what they would experience, teaching them Earth customs, warning them about keeping certain abilities hidden, answering endless questions about her childhood in human ways. When the ship entered Earth orbit, the children pressed against the viewing ports, gasping at the blue and green planets so different from purple-tinged Lumina. They landed at a special diplomatic port built specifically for Zenith vessels. The first steps onto Earth soil were difficult for the children, their bodies struggling against the heavier gravity. Despite their preparation, Olivia, parents now in their 60s, waited at the landing site with tears streaming down their faces. They had seen their grandchildren only through video communications, never able to hug them until now. Amara, the oldest, approached them first, careful not to accidentally project her thoughts. She had practiced for weeks controlling her telepathy around humans who were not accustomed to mental communication. The reunion was emotional, with Olivia watching her two worlds literally embrace her mother, taught the children to make cookies using real Earth ingredients. Her father took them fishing in the lake where Olivia had spent summers as a child. Normal grandparent activities made extraordinary by the purple glow of the children's skin and their occasional slips into Zenith language. The Earth tour was carefully planned and supervised by both Earth and Zenith security. The family visited major cities, museums, natural wonders, and historical sites. In New York, Nova was entranced by the light, patterns created by the city at night. In Paris, Lyria visited hospitals, learning Earth medical techniques in the Amazon rainforest. Selena communicated with plant species she had never encountered, causing flowers to bloom out of season, much to the amazement of botanists. The children became minor celebrities, with news outlets covering their visit. Demonstrators occasionally appeared at their appearances, some supportive, some hostile. The children handled both with remarkable poise. Amara, serving as spokesperson for her siblings, explained that they were simply children of two worlds, hoping for continued friendship between their parent species. Olivia watched her children absorb Earth culture like sponges. They collected souvenirs, took thousands of photos, recorded sounds and smells, trying to capture everything to take back to Lumina. They visited schools, meeting Earth children, answering questions about life on another world. They were ambassadors without portfolio, creating goodwill through their obvious intelligence and gentle nature. The most powerful moment came when the family visited the spot where the first Zenith ship had landed on Earth 10 years earlier, now a historical monument. The children stood silently, contemplating how that single event had led to their existence. Amara placed her hand on the memorial plaque and sent a wave of gratitude to the universe for the chain of circumstances that had brought two species together. As their Earth visit neared its end, Olivia received news from Lumina. Queen Zara was expanding the hybrid program, establishing new settlements on Lumina's sister planets. The success of the first generation of hybrids had convinced even conservative Zenith elders that this was the path to their species' survival. And now, with 5 thriving models of human Zenith compatibility, living proof, walking the Earth, the program would grow exponentially. The final days on Earth were spent in Ohio, where Olivia had grown up. The children played in the same park, swam in the same lakes, ate ice cream from the same shop that had been part of Olivia's childhood. They collected soil and water samples to take back to Lumina, along with seeds from plants that might adapt to their new home. They said goodbye to their human grandparents, promising to return for regular visits now that the path between worlds was well established. The return journey to Lumina felt shorter somehow, the ship filled with treasures from Earth, and minds filled with new experiences. The children spoke of Earth often, sometimes in Zenith language, sometimes in English, their identities fully embracing both heritages. They no longer felt torn between worlds, but rather bridges connecting them. As the purple landscape of Lumina came into view, they felt the same excitement they had felt seeing Earth, proof that they truly belonged to both planets. Their return to the colony was celebrated with a festival. During their absence, 12 more hybrid babies had been born. The population now included over 100 hybrids ranging from newborns to Amara, who at 9 years old was considered a pioneer of her kind. The children shared their Earth experiences through stories, songs, and in Amara case-controlled telepathic impressions. They distributed the gifts they had brought: books, music, art, and most precious of all, letters from Earth. Children who wanted Lumina pen pals. Life returned to its rhythm, but forever changed by the Earth. The children now understood their dual heritage in a way no lesson could have taught them. They were not just hybrids, but synthesizers creating something new from both worlds. Olivia watched them with pride, seeing how they moved with confidence, between cultures, adapting and integrating. The best of both years passed swiftly. The colony grew. New hybrid abilities emerged with each generation. The genetic crisis that had once threatened zenith extinction was officially declared over. The children grew into adolescence and then adulthood, each finding their path. Amara became a diplomat traveling between Earth and Zenith. Worlds Nova became an artist creating light sculptures that were displayed in galleries on both planets. Lyria established a medical center combining Zenith and human healing techniques. Orion led geological surveys that discovered new resources vital to both species. Selena created gardens where Earth and Lumina plants grew together in harmonious ecosystems. Olivia grew older watching her children succeed in ways she could never have imagined when she first accepted that strange job in an alien village. Her hair turned gray, her steps slowed, but her legacy flourished around her. Her children had children of their own, creating a second generation of hybrids with even stronger abilities and deeper connections to both worlds. On her 70th birthday, a great celebration was held. Humans and Zenith gathered to honor the woman who had bridged their worlds. Queen Zara, now elderly herself, presented Olivia with the Order of the Twin Suns, the highest Zenith honor. The Earth Ambassador bestowed upon her the United Nations Peace Medal. Representatives from 20 planets attended, many from worlds where hybrid colonies had been established following the Lumina model. Olivia stood before them all with her 5 children beside her, their spouses and her 15 grandchildren surrounding them. She looked out at the faces purple and pink, and every shade, between human and zenith and hybrid all together, building a future none could have imagined when she first stepped onto zenith soil. Decades ago, I came here to do a job, she said, her voice still strong. I thought I would be teaching or translating, or doing diplomatic work. The job turned out to be making babies. She smiled as laughter rippled through the crowd. But what I really made was a bridge between worlds. My children and all the children who came after them are that bridge. They are the future, not just of humans, not just of Zenith, but of a new people who carry the best of both. That night, as the celebration continued, Olivia stood on the balcony of her home looking up at the stars, the same stars she had dreamed of seeing as a young woman in Ohio. Now she knew many of them had planets where human Zenith hybrids were building communities, extending the bridge she had helped create. She felt arms around her shoulders. Amara, now a tall, graceful woman with her mother brown eyes and her father shifting colors. You changed everything, Mother. Olivia shook her head. No, sweet one. We changed everything together. Your fathers and I, the Queen, all the brave women who came after me, and most of all you children. You took what we began and made it greater than we could have imagined. Amara smiled, sending a wave of love telepathically. It had started with a job making babies. It had become a mission, creating a future. It would continue now through generations, each building on what came before the stars above seemed to shine in approval, as mother and daughter stood together halfway between two worlds and belonging perfectly to both.